All right. Hey, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started right here. We're going to go over the 5 steps to rewire body negativity. I'm Jen. Thanks for joining me today. If anyone comes in later, they can just come on right in. We'll pick up, okay? So this workshop, you're going to learn how to stop obsessing over your weight, over your body, over your food, and really start to create the body and life that you love. This is something I personally struggled with for a while, so I can totally relate to you if you're, going through these challenges. So you're in the right place if you find yourself shit talking your body all the time, really saying unkind things like, I'm so fat, I'm worthless, like, oh my God, I'm so ugly, like, why would anyone like me, right? That's shit talking your body, and that's not normal, and we can change that. You're in the right place if you're calorie and food obsessed, if you find yourself tracking your calories and really religiously, going over your macros, like that's also not really normal. You're also in the right place if you're feeling mentally drained. Something like food anxiety, body image issues, self-esteem, eating disordered eating patterns, these things can leave you feeling really mentally drained. Also, if you're ready to ditch the numbers game, really stop trying to find value in your weight on the scale or the number of calories that you eat. And if you want to be insanely body confident, we're going to teach you how right here. So in this workshop, you're going to discover what your issue is, what the challenge really is, how it's holding you back in more ways than maybe you're thinking about right now, why you're stuck and where you are, how to start healing, and also where to start. This is an extremely complex issue, something like food anxiety, self-esteem. So we're gonna break it down to see what's the most manageable step that you can take right now to get to the right place. So some things about you that I ask, if you're open to sharing your challenge and honest about where you're feeling stuck, this is going to help a lot of people, not just yourself, in order getting help that you really need, but also to help make you feel less alone, because other people probably go through the same exact thing. If you're willing to participate and you remain respectful and non-judgmental of everyone, that's going to be super helpful in this workshop. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. A little bit more about me. I'm Jen Cui. I'm the founder of Jen Cui Health. I have my degree from Health and Human Sciences with a specialization in psychology from USC. And as a health coach, I specialize in mental health as well as disordered eating. So really, if you're struggling with food anxiety, body image, and all that, helping to rewire those thoughts and create sustainable, healthy habits. That's kind of where my expertise as a holistic health coach and as a certified personal trainer comes in, is really creating a sustainable self-care routine for you. So let's go ahead with the first part of understanding your situation. Where are you right now and why are you here? So body negativity is what we want to define as any self-created thoughts, beliefs, or actions about one's body that devalues or invalidates her or his self-worth, right? So on social media, you might see like all this stuff about body positivity and, self-worth and stuff. And what it means to have like a negative self-image. But this is exactly what it is. It is a self-created thought, belief, or action that makes you feel less than what you actually are. So some actions that we might see when you are experiencing body negativity are this. 1, body pinching. I'm guilty of this. I used to do this all the time. I still kind of do every now and then, but there's ways to manage it. So body pinching is really just pinching at all the little parts, right? Your arms. For girls, it's like their tricep, your belly, your thighs, and just thinking, oh, this is disgusting, right? And then the other thing that we might see is a diet cycle. So this idea of either always being on a diet or restricting your calories and then binging and then feeling guilty about it and then restricting again. So these things create a lot of negative patterns within ourselves. It creates hyper-awareness in our own bodies so that any change that we might see, if we had too much water to drink, or no such thing as too much water, but if we have a lot of water, if we have a lot of salt, and that changes the appearance of our bodies, make us look maybe a little bit more bloated, we become hyper-aware of that and we get so caught up in it. And that can lead to this diet cycle, right? This diet mentality that you always have to be on a diet. So some speech patterns that we might see when we're dealing with body negativity is something like this. I let myself go. Right? This judgment around having your food, feeling like you have to work for it and stuff, just like comparing yourself to the past of, wow, when I was in high school, I was really skinny. I didn't really have to try. I was used to be so active, and now I really let myself go. Right? And this comes from a place of judgment, of you're judging your past self, and it's not fair because we grow and we develop and you're going somewhere new, right? Which is going to require a different self. I shouldn't have eaten that. This is shame around maybe food that you find as a bad food, right? Labeling that as a bad food and then feeling guilty around that. This leads to something like the diet cycle, where maybe you eat a donut and now you feel really bad about it. So you try to go work out like for an hour to burn it off. She's so much more blank than me, right? She's so much prettier than me, skinnier than me, more successful than me, whatever it is. And this is comparison. This is a really toxic thought to have. It's a really toxic default for a lot of us that we don't even notice. And this can really take out a lot of joy and really make us feel less. My blank is too blank. My thighs are too big. My belly's too fat. You know, my boobs are too small, my butt is too small, whatever it is, the self-criticism that you can have towards yourself is also really toxic. It hurts your own self-image of yourself. It hurts your confidence, and people see that too. It makes you defensive, it makes you judgmental. So those are some things that you might see. Another one, I don't deserve it. This comes from the restriction part of the diet mentality, where maybe you feel like you have to work for your food and you haven't worked out enough, you haven't burned enough calories, so no, you can't eat that meal yet, or you can't do this, you can't do that. And this is going to stop you from living your life fully, and you're going to have always the stress around you, especially around meal times. I'm never going to change. This is a speech pattern that you might see when you experience defeat, when you have tried so hard in the past to lose weight, to get to your, weight goal, to manage your life and your body, and you feel like you failed, right? And you feel like it's never going to change anymore. It's just not meant for you. And this feeling of defeat leads to self-doubt. So these are some speech patterns that we might see when we're dealing with body negativity. Okay. Now, we know we do this now, but why, right? Why do we have these negative speech patterns and actions when we know that we would never say or do any of those things to anyone else? Well, it's because we're wired to. It's become a habit. It's become a habit for us to shit on ourselves, to feel bad about ourselves, and to feel like we're not good enough. So this is how we're going to start changing it. This is the belief to habit cycle. This is how our thoughts can become our realities, and how we can start changing the way that we view ourselves. So we can take it from any part here, right? The subconscious, conscious actions and habits. Typically, it's easier to start from a conscious or action or habit level. So let's say right now you have this habit of stress eating, right? Anytime you're stressed, you go for the ice cream, you go for chips, you go for whatever, and maybe you don't even recognize that you're doing it. Maybe you're just mindlessly eating out of stress and boredom, right? So that's because there's something in the subconscious that's causing it, that's creating these conscious actions, conscious thoughts that lead to actions that build this habit, right? And this habit of feeling stressed and going to eat, a lot of times we don't notice it, right? Because it's part of our subconscious now. We've done it for so long, we don't even think about it, right? Or maybe you get up in the morning and you think like, oh my gosh, I'm so fat, and you feel like you have to go on the weight scale, right? It's because you had this habit now that created the subconscious thought, and now we have to start changing it. So the way we can start changing it is to create a conscious thought in our mind of, okay, because I know that I have this habit of stress eating, I'm going to create a space between the thoughts and the action of, okay, do I really want to eat right now? Is it from hunger or is it from stress? Is it something else? Like, why do I want to eat right now? And the answer is, I don't know. Dig deeper, right? You have to create that space. And so let's say that the action that you want to take now that you've realized, okay, you eat when you're stressed out, and it's mostly due to work stress. Okay. So the action there is maybe instead of coming home and going straight to the fridge, come home and change, take a shower, get out of that mindset first into comfy clothes. And then that becomes a habit, right? Maybe that makes you relax enough that you don't want to go for the ice cream right away. Maybe it's something more. Maybe it's you make yourself a cup of tea, or you have a piece of fruit instead of cake or something, right? That becomes a habit, which then goes into the self-conscious thought of, you don't need to eat when you're stressed. That's not the only course of action that you can take when you're stressed. Okay, so all of these things that we just learned, right, is going to go into identifying our limiting habits and help us do this. So the speech patterns, the actions, that we take, like these things can help us identify where our limiting habits are right now, and then help us with that cycle of change. So the first thing that we talked about was comparison, right? And this comes from the root belief that I'm not enough, that you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough. And it's because you're looking at everyone else outside of you and you're using that as a judgment point for you. You're using other people as benchmarks for your success and your happiness and your worth, okay? Perfectionism. This is rooted in the belief that this isn't enough, right? You're not enough. That what you're doing is not enough. What you're eating is not healthy enough. What your workouts are not hard enough. You know, your body's not good enough. And this is rooted in the belief of you're comparing yourself to you, your past self, but in an unhealthy manner where you have this desire for a perfection. Like there's this perfection point, right? There's this one point where you really want to get to, and you think until you get there, you can't be happy with yourself and you can't slow down. And that's really toxic because perfection doesn't exist. It really doesn't. Nothing in this world is perfect, right? As to try to judge your body off of something that you might see as perfect, other people are going to have different opinions on what that means, right? If you get to that point, other people say, like, you know, something bad about you, are you going to feel okay with that? Like, are you going to feel good enough? And then the last limiting habit that we want to talk about is self-doubt. This idea that you can't be good enough, right? So when we looked at the speech pattern of being self-defeating, of feeling like, you know, you just can't do anything anymore, this is where that comes from. It's the idea that you can't get to where you want to be anymore, and what's the worth trying? You're just going to stay stuck at where you are. Okay, let's go ahead and take our checkpoints and take a deep breath in and breathe out. Okay, awesome. So we just went over the speech pattern actions that you might see when you're dealing with negative self-talk and body negativity. And we also went over the cycle of change. So after we've identified these limiting habits, how we can start changing it by using our conscious thoughts, our actions, and building it into a habit. So let's go ahead and go into the questions for change now. This part, you can grab a notebook or something if you don't have one already and write them down, because they're going to also come with actionables that you can put in place so that you can help yourself heal. So the first question is, what do you really want? And for this, you really have to dig deep here. You really have to ask yourself, you know, what do you want to build a vibrant life with a purpose, by loving yourself? You know, what does it mean to you to be healthy? Right, to have a good relationship with yourself. What does that look like? Do you want to be cooking predominantly at home and be able to enjoy a meal out when you go out? Do you want to feel, you know, excited and not feel guilty about eating, you know, a food that you think is a bad food? Do you want to have healthy relationships and friendships around you? Intellectually, do you want to feel stimulated? Do you want to work out because you love your body, not because you hate it? Number 2, what's holding you back? What are the habits that are not serving you right now? So for this, I call this a life audit, right? And in this life audit, you're going to learn how to cut the bullshit out of your life. So now that we know where we want to go, right? You have this manifestation or a vision board maybe of where you want to go. How are you going to get there? Well, we start with looking at where we are right now. So these are the 5 domains that I like to go over. 1, physical, mental, spiritual, relational, then occupational. Okay, so these 5 domains of health. In your physical health, you can ask yourself, what are the nutrition and fitness habits that you have right now? And are these serving you, right? Is your nutrition helping you get to where you want to be in having, you know, a healthy body, you know, making you feel good, not mentally sluggish, to have good sleep? Are your fitness habits where they are, where you feel like you're getting that good daily activity in, so you can get that serotonin, that you can, you know, be strong? And, you know, physical health also encompasses hydration and sleep, right? Are you getting enough sleep? Probably not. Are you drinking enough water? Probably not. So ask yourself, from where you want to be, what your ideal version of yourself looks like. How are you compare right now? The next domain is mental. So what are you doing for yourself? And this is extremely important, especially now during quarantine and everything. But what are you doing for yourself in your mind mentally, right? Are you feeling like your self-care routine is off? Are you not taking enough time to relax? Do you still feel like you have to do all the time, right? Do something all the time? Do you feel like you have to be productive? how are you going to quiet this side of yourself, right? How do you add in this idea of managing stress and emotions healthily? Your spiritual health. Are you being authentic and grounded in what you do, right? As an individual, this doesn't have to do anything with religion if you don't want it to be. I myself am not religious, but I do consider myself spiritual because I practice spiritual practices like gratitude, right? To find joy in the little things. I practice meditation. Journaling can also be a spiritual practice. When I cook, I feel more connected to my food. I'm plant-based and completely vegan, and that to me is partially spiritual because it's a morals and ethics stuff thing. So in the spiritual realm, you're really asking yourself what your core values are, and are you staying authentic to it? What are your relational habits, right? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are these people that are making you feel uplifted, feel supported, feel good, feel secure, right? Do you feel loved? Do you feel like you can trust them? Are you open, right? These are some things that you can ask yourself with your relational health to help you create a life that you really like. And then the last domain is occupational health, right? What's the impact that you want to have? What kind of career path is going to quench your thirst for, stability or, adventure, whatever it is that your values are from your spiritual health. You can figure out, what occupation you want to be to bring value to other people, to bring value to yourself. Because at the end of the day, just doing something for the money is going to be extremely draining, and it's not going to be enough. So these are the questions that you can ask yourself in these 5 different domains. And let's go ahead and move on. Okay, so now that you've identified your habits that you have, what's keeping you a victim, right? What's keeping you a victim of your own story that's holding you back from living this life? And now that you see exactly where you want to focus your attention to, maybe there's something there that's keeping you a victim, shedding, and you have to shed that identity of boohoo, poor me, I can't get to where I want to go, to rewrite your story, right? You're going to become a creator now. The antithesis to a victim is to be able to create your own reality. The victim is the person who says, I can't do this. And the creator is the person who says, I can't do this yet. What can I do about it to get there? So let's break it down. Victimization can be seen in your thoughts and your actions. And let's break down the thoughts first, okay? So victimization can come in the form of blaming yourself and blaming others. This thought of, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I was never good enough, any of those things can keep you a victim. And also blaming other people, where your boss is the blame, right? Because they're being unfair to you, they're putting out so much work to you, or the bus was late, and my friends are being mean to me, they're not like seeing my point of view, my parents did all this stuff that are making me feel bad, right? This idea of really just not taking ownership of how you feel. And this can lead to distrust. It can lead to distrust in yourself, where you don't know how you're going to act in different situations, how you are going to feel. And it leads to distrust in others. So you don't trust that other people have good intentions, and that leads to pulling back, right? Because if you blame yourself all the time, you don't trust that you can do good work, that you don't trust that you can maintain a good friendship, you're going to pull back from people who are good, who want to be your friends even, and you're going to pull back from other opportunities, right, when people approach you, because you don't think that they have good intentions. The other thing that can happen is you can overthink, and overthinking always leaves you feeling stuck, because when you blame yourself to the point where you're thinking all the time about your weight, about your food, you can't get anywhere. There's no space to make a new decision because you're just caught up in the thinking process. Same thing when you blame others, is that you overthink about what other people are going to think about you, maybe a social anxiety type of thing, where you don't want to go out to a party, you don't want to do anything because what's going to happen, right? So you get stuck. This is kind of the victimization flowchart that we can look at, and you can work your way backwards too. If you're feeling this way, if you're pulling back, if you're feeling stuck, if you're overthinking a lot, if you feel distressed, right? Maybe it's because you're victimizing yourself. So let's go ahead and take a checkpoint right here. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. All right, nice work. We just went through a lot of stuff. We went through the first 3 questions for change, right? So asking yourself what you really want, create a manifestation about it, right? Create a vision board to help you get to where you want to be. We did a life audit. We asked what habits are not serving you right now. And we went through the 5 different domains that you can choose, maybe the top 1 or 2, and really do the work for it, right? And doing the work meaning don't be a victim, right? So we learned what a victimization thought or action might look like, and how we can start changing that to become a creator. So number 4, what is non-negotiable? This is a time to, really stop being so selfish or selfless, sorry. And this is the idea that, we as human beings are all unique, and we need different things to feel good, right? If whether you're more introverted or extroverted, depending on your hobbies, what is non-negotiable for you? And put on your own mask first before you can help someone else, right? You have to be at 100% in order to really show up as your greatest self for everyone else around you. So ask yourself, what do you need to function at 100%, right? For me, that's going to be, I need to be eating healthy, right? I need to have my avocado toast in the morning, or, have a cereal, a granola with my seeds and tofu scramble or whatever it is. But I need to have my healthy food with me. I need to be able to feel fueled by it. And I also need to let myself enjoy my food. So enjoy the brownie and enjoy the ice cream that I want to have every now and then. I also need my sleep, right? I need my 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night to really function. And if I don't get that, my workouts are going to suffer. And if my workouts suffer, then I can't get the next thing I need, right? I can't get my physical activity in, and I need to be active in order to feel good. I need to walk around. I need to lift some weights. I need to do some cardio. And then the last thing I know I need for myself to feel good is my relational health. So relational health being that I need to know that I can reach out to my friends, my family, my sister, to bounce off, however I feel, to really get things off my chest so that I can feel good. So ask yourself, what do you need to function at 100%? Number 5, what are the little wins? And this is the idea of committing to the process and not the result. So when we're dealing with something so complex like habit changing and habit formation, have you noticed that maybe it's really difficult for you to stay on the wagon per se, right? How many people make New Year's resolutions and don't stick with them after a month or even after a week, right? It's because they're so caught up and committed to the result, the end goal, that they forget that it takes work. They forget that it takes little steps to get there. And so when we can celebrate the little wins in whatever we want to change in our lives, it's going to help us stick to where we want to go. So at Jen Cui Health, we like to really dive deep into this and help people celebrate their little wins. So something as simple as choosing curiosity over judgment helps you to keep your mind open, right? So instead of even judging yourself, let's say, right? Let's say instead of quickly judging yourself for being bad for eating ice cream one day, right? Instead of that, choosing curiosity and asking yourself, why did you eat ice cream when you didn't really feel like it, right? Why did you eat so much of it? Well, digging deeper, maybe it's because you're really stressed and that's how you cope with things, right? And that awareness piece is really crucial in helping you create a healthier habit. The next thing is changing I'll be happy when to I can be happy now by. And just changing your language up around things is going to help you get out of the victim mentality and step into the creator mentality of, instead of thinking you'll be happy when you are 100 pounds with 10% body fat, and all this stuff, you can change it to I can be happy right now by making sure that I have a healthy breakfast every morning and going for a walk, right, to clear out my mind. Maybe it's reading a book. Instead of thinking, you can be happy when coronavirus is all over, change it to how can you be happy now, right? What can you celebrate now? Where can you find joy right now? And especially, with coronavirus right now, it's the time to do the things that you said you didn't have the time for, right? So making that time for yourself, for self-care, for the things that you love, to be creative, to explore new things, that's extremely important for our mental and our spiritual health. And it makes us a more well-rounded person. So these are some things that you can see, are going to help you celebrate the little wins. Even something as simple as drinking enough water or making your bed in the morning, that's something to celebrate. So here are the 5 questions that we ask ourselves. What do you really want? What's holding you back? What's keeping you a victim? What's non-negotiable? And what are the little wins? By asking yourself these questions, you learn like what your why is. Okay, you know down deep with the manifestation and the vision board that you have, you know your why. You also are able to let go of the bullshit in your life because you understand what the habits that you have that are toxic right now. You learn how to stop victimizing yourself so you can actually let go of everything and create a new life for yourself. You learn to serve yourself first, really understand what your non-negotiables are so that you can serve others later. And you also learn that it's not all or nothing. It's not about if you get to the end goal that you say that you want. It's about the process that you make throughout that time. So remember that when we start something new, like a new habit, our bodies and our brains don't want to change it. We are habits of creature, and change is uncomfortable. It feels gross. And remember that if it were easy, we would already be doing what we want to do, right? We'd already be eating healthy, loving life, having a fulfilling career. So change is not easy. It's not comfortable, but we have to own it. We have to own it to let us empower us instead of take hold of us and create anxiety in our lives. So in order to do all of this, and especially to let go of our old habits and create new habits to really prioritize ourselves, we have to let go of judgment. We have to let go of judgment from yourself and from others. You have to let go of the idea that you are being selfish, that you are, not worthy of being healthy, of not worthy of having time for self-care. You have to let go of the idea that maybe you're being lazy, if you're not being productive. And you have to let go of other people's judgments that they're not going to think you're a good friend if you don't say yes to everything. You have to let go of the idea that maybe your professor is going to be disappointed if you do, have a lower grade in the class. You have to let go of that in order to serve yourself first and to really grow. So with all of this, it's all with the aim of getting to a place of body positivity, which we like to define here at Jen Cui Health as a non-judgmental, full acceptance of one's current physical, mental, and spiritual state. Okay, so broken down, this is also the active participation in one's personal development in the absence of perfection. Okay, so let's take a look at this, right? The first part of body positivity is that you accept where you are right now, and there's no judgment for it, right? You're not judging yourself harshly of, criticizing your body all the time, and you accept it in all the different domains of your health, right? So your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, recognizing that maybe you have depression and anxiety and maybe you're overweight, and accepting that and being able to not attack yourself because of it. The second part is loving your body enough that you participate in helping develop your personal health, your relational health, your physical, your mental, your relational health, all that stuff. You love your body enough, you love yourself enough to start actively participating in it to make it healthier and to strive for non-perfection. All right, so with that, if you're looking for more support, I'm here to help you, okay? I'm here to help accelerate your growth. You can reach out to me at any time and I got you. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath in and breathe out. We're going to go into our meditation, okay? We went over a lot of things. We went over the last couple of questions for change, of how you can really start to see change if you let go of judgment so that you can reach your non-negotiables, and how you can celebrate the process of all of this. So go and take a deep breath in. And when you're ready, go ahead and close your eyes if you haven't done so already. And as you breathe, I want you to really just focus on your breath. Keep your feet on the ground. Your hands can be at the palms up or palms down on your thighs. Start to become aware of the sounds around you and really ground yourself. As you breathe, I want you to think about where you are right now. Think about how there's nowhere to go, nowhere to be, but just here. Just need to bring your attention to your breath. Notice how deep or shallow your breath is. Notice how long the breath is or how short. And notice that the more attention that you bring to your breath, the easier it is for you to change it if you'd like to. There's less resistance in change when we accept where we are, when we take note of it, when there's no judgment around it, when we just be, we let change just happen and we adapt. I also want you to notice the slight pause that we have in between each breath. How there's a pause at the top, at the end of our inhale. How we hold for a minute and then we let it go. And then again, there it is, the pause, the in-between of the change, where it feels like maybe we're holding our breath. But nonetheless, the cycle continues. And as our breath is cyclical, remember that this is also the way that life works. Everything is in motion all the time. And right now, the world is caught in the in-between, in the cycle of change, a new decade, a new situation. And it can feel like we are holding our breath. And we can choose to fill ourselves with anxiety. We can choose to fill ourselves with grace, with joy, with gratitude. And that energy is going to flow with the exhale. As you breathe, just notice these things, these patterns of breath that you have. Notice the rising and falling of the chest as you breathe. I want you to bring your attention now to the top of your head. A couple inches above your head, I want you to imagine a light. Any light that you would like. Notice the brightness of it, the shape of it, the warmth of it. And now I want you to imagine that light flowing down through your head. Notice it soften the wrinkles on your forehead, soften the muscles around your eyes, going down to the cheeks, relaxing the tongue, let it fall to the back of your throat. Noticing that there's no reason to hold in any tension right now. Touching your shoulders now, let the light heal. Let it flush out any bad feelings that you might have right now. And just let it keep flowing down through the body. Down to the back, through the stomach, relaxing and healing. Notice any tension that you feel in your body and just let it go. Let it flow with the flow of our brightness of the light. Flow with the energy. Down through the legs, down to the knees. Wherever the energy flows, it heals. When we get down to your feet, let the energy wash out through the feet back into the earth. Just down on the ground beneath you. And your body right here is cleansed. Just notice the feeling of serenity that you might have. And with the next breath, take a deep breath in. And imagine some energy being pulled from the ground. Newly found energy from the ground being pulled in with every breath. Let yourself breathe in this new fresh energy from the feet up through the legs. Reinvigorating the body. Bringing new energy to the body, up through the legs, through the core, through the back, through the fingertips, up to the chest, to the shoulders. This new clean energy just flushing your body. Coming up through the head. Again, up through the cheeks, to the eyes, to the forehead, and then back up to your head. And right here, I want you to imagine your light again. Notice the clarity of the light. As you go throughout your day, through the week, I want you to remember that this tool is always with you. To take the time to sit and be with your body, to be with your thoughts, to wash away your thoughts, your pain. Go ahead and bring your attention back to your seat now. Feel the weight of your body in your chair. And when you're ready, go ahead and wiggle your fingers and toes. And then in your own time, gently open your eyes with the soft gaze forward. All right. Nice job, everyone. I hope that meditation helped you really find more connection with your body. A lot of things are about that mind-body connection, right, to really heal, to wash away that pain. So here's my information. If you do want to connect, you can message me or email me at any time. And yeah, with that, we'll conclude. Okay, awesome. Thank you all so much. I hope you learned something today. And again, don't be afraid to reach out. Bye, everyone.